Item number 4, approval and amendment of meeting agenda items.
The agenda is as stands, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to present the agenda as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of October 24th, 2017 as presented.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the October 25th meeting as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain, I don't think I wrote that name down.
The minutes are.
Oh,
The minutes were filed.
All right, moving on to number 6, correspondence.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Public comment? Okay. Number 8, reports, 5th grade. Shot at us.
Okay, so, the projects that are being shared by these young ladies today were one component of our bigger president's unit. So they, all of my social studies kids, so I teach all of the 5th graders social studies. So everyone created a project, and part of the unit was the pictures and the projects, but the overall objective of it was to teach them about government, to teach them about the branches of government. What are the eligibility requirements to become president? So each of them got to select their own president, and they learned some facts about them, and they wanted to share their posters and the facts about their president. So first up will be Miss Skyla. So you can stand and show them your picture. They're super nervous today.
Hello, my name is Skylar Samples. I picked the first president, George Washington, because he was a leader and brought us together to show us a community and what we could be. Did you know that George Washington had false teeth made from weird stuff and he didn't like to show them off? George Washington brought us through hard times but started something great.
And show them your picture.
I know, that's all I say it too.
Go ahead and stand up and show the crowd, okay? Very good.
No mumbling.
Hi, my name is Riley Stubbs. I think James K. Polk is interesting because he was governor of Tennessee. 2, he was a member of the Democratic Party. 3, he hosted the first Thanksgiving dinner in the White House.
So show the crowd your pictures.
Go ahead and stand up if you would.
There.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Sophia Zendejas. My president is Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president of the United States. I picked him because he founded the national park industry. My second reason is because the teddy bear was named after him, and my third reason is because he was such a great and kind person. You guys all did a great job.
And then we have Laura Jo.
I am Laura Jo Bus. I chose Donald Trump because he is our current president, the 45th. The reason I picked Trump for this art project is because I believe in his slogan, "Make America Great Again." And I find it interesting that he has hit products and has been on TV and movies.
And there's Mr. Trump. All of my kids did a great job though, so I brought you some other samples of ones that kids did. So we have Howard Taft. We have Barack Obama. This one was one of my favorites because of the face. He did the face. And then we had Abraham Lincoln. We had several of those. And then we had Ronald Reagan, or I like to call him Barry Schulenberger, because he looks like Barry, if you hold it up. All of my kids did a really great job on these, and they also were displayed in our hallway for a few weeks, and so this was a big unit for us, and I thought that it was really special that the kids got to choose them for their own reasons, so. But I was very proud of my children.
So did you guys like this project?
Yeah.
Pretty fun?
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for
thank
your
you
time.
for having us.
Appreciate you coming down here today. Show us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. You guys did a good job. I think we can go home with the parents.
Sneak out.
And so they had to memorize him, and we talked about facts, and I have a really cool program, whatever. So they didn't actually have to write reports on this, they are gonna do that for our Explorers Junior, because we're starting a storyline for our Explorers. But this is just a fun piece of it. Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving along, 8.2 Asb Report, Mr. Clyde.
On October 12th, we held our second class meeting to reflect how homecoming week went and what student council does for our school. We handed out short questionnaires asking students if they liked the dress-up themes, the music at the dance, and how to make improvements. We received feedback. Also on October 12th, girls volleyball had their senior recognition before their game against Cascade Christian. We honored 5 seniors and bought flowers for each, as well as talked about each one's high school sports career and future plans. On October 26th, we brought back Powder Puff football and played under the lights with 2 teams, one being a combination of sophomores and juniors, and the other freshmen and seniors. There was no cost to watch, and there was soda and water for purchase by the special education kids. We had the football players coach and help assist the girls as they battled out with flags, no tackling. Mr. Ziza and Mr. Stupak refereed the game, calling many penalties. The senior and freshman team came out with the win on the warm night. We had around 25 players for the event. On October 27th, we honored our football, soccer, cross country, and cheer seniors before the boys' game against St. Mary's. There were 25 seniors honored. On Friday, November 3rd, our student council left for our leadership conference in Seaside. We made pit stops at the boys' football game in Scio Friday night, as well as the girls' soccer playoff game in Hillsborough on Saturday, and cheered them on. At the conference on Sunday afternoon, we listened to a great keynote speaker talk about being a good person and not taking things personal. Sunday evening, we went to workshops where other schools presented information about fun events, assemblies, becoming a better leader, and etc. This year, we did our own workshop on school improvements. We talked about things that we did to our courtyard, new bulletins we have put up, and things we have painted in around the school to make it look better. We showed pictures of our projects and talked about the steps to complete these projects. On Monday morning, we listened to another keynote speaker discuss how his life was drastically changed while in high school and how he has worked to overcome that tragedy and had a very successful life. This was the conclusion of the conference, and we headed to Springfield to drop off the girls' soccer for a practice as they are on their way back to the Portland area. We are working to implement the ideas we gained at fall conference to improve our leadership class and the school as a whole.
Good report, thank you, Bryce.
Busy times.
Yeah.
It's a good fall year for sports
Yeah.
and for the school.
Yeah, I was lucky we got to go watch a lot of it too.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Any questions for Bryce? All right. Thanks.
Brandon, do you have anything to add?
Is this where, I just have, I don't know. So, is this where my report is?
This is
Okay.
your time.
So, I mean, Bryce pretty much handles most of it, but I'm representing Rusty tonight. And so we had conferences last week. And for the middle school, high school, we had 216 students represented. So I don't have our enrollment numbers. I wasn't able to grab those before I left, but that's how many students were represented at our conferences, so that was great. We just had our first Avid field trip for our 7th and 8th graders, and we received a very nice actual thank you from the college that they emailed us after and said, we just wanted to say thank you again for taking the time to visit COCC campus. We had such a great time with your students yesterday. They were so well behaved, engaged, and asking great questions. And I was so impressed with their college knowledge. You're doing a great job with college content, and I know it isn't easy at that age. I hope you enjoyed your lunch on campus, and hope to see your juniors and seniors soon on December 8th. So not every college reaches out and says, hey, thanks for bringing, 30-some middle schoolers to our campus. We really enjoyed it. And so that was just a tremendous compliment. So we appreciated that. And then, like Bryce said, our cross-country team, boys finished 3rd at state and girls finished 10th. Soccer made it to the semifinals. We had our SAT school day, and we had 25 kids participate in that, which was really great. This is the first time we've offered that, and so we were excited for that. Last week we also had the Shakespeare Festival on Tuesday, where all freshmen and juniors were involved in workshops, and then there was an entire performance for the whole student body, 7 through 12. And then winter sports started up today, and middle school girls basketball has been up and running for a while now. So those are the other highlights. Any questions?
Thanks.
Awesome.
Good job.
Very natural.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. What?
This one.
I apologize for the phone, but I think we're experiencing our second round of flu, and I'm just trying to keep bodies in classrooms this week. Starting today, we had 7 kids gone in one classroom just for the flu. So,
Noro again?
don't know. Same kind of symptoms, but we don't have a, we're not going in much depth as we did before as far as figuring that out. But the teachers have really been troopers because they're coming to work even though they may not feel great. And if they're getting sick, we're sending them home. But anyway, hence the phone. I apologize for that. I'm trying to find some subs for tomorrow. Conferences went really well for our teachers. We had a 95% attendance rate at Fremont and 80 Hay. And that will go up just a little bit. We had some parents that took advantage of the days off and were out of town. And so those teachers are scheduling with those parents to finish those up. But as of today, Fremont Hay have 95% attendance rate at their conferences, and Union had 93%. And that also, I know they have a few more conferences to go up for that. The 6th grade parents put together their usual fall carnival right before Halloween. And even with this flu outbreak, the attendance was down, but people were very generous, and the carnival made more than it did last year. So we were really excited for those kiddos about that. It was not a lot more, but it held their own pretty well. You saw some of the projects that they're doing, and every one of those teachers at Fremont Hay and Union want to come show you guys something that they're excited about that they're doing with their kids. I know these particular kiddos, they're working on a storyline project, and that's a curriculum that we sent Sandy Lisney to be trained on, and it presents real life problems for kids, and they have to solve those things, but they do it in a curriculum text. So what that means in 5th grade is that they have an explorers unit where they have to cover famous explorers in history. So the kids are going to divide up, and they all get so many continents, because Ms. Chavez teaches all the social studies for 5th grade, Ms. Kylie teaches all the science. And those kids that are on different continents are going to have different problems their explorers have to solve. And they have to develop a skill set for their explorers and knowledge base that their explorer might have. And then they have to go through a series of problem-solving exercises. And they may have really wet wood. They might have not enough supplies. They may not know how they're going to get across a big river. And they have to either build models or write essays on how they're going to do that. And Mrs. Lisney did a training for our teachers about 3 weeks ago. And with her 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders out at Union, they were doing Minions, and they developed a character. And they have this lab that they've built, and they have to solve problems. Like they had a fire in their lab, and how are they going to solve the problem that created? But just getting kids thinking about real life problems and critical thinking a little bit. Fun way to do it. And then we have some more elementary teachers that are doing some other things now that they've went to that training. Officer Grindle and I've talked to Mr. Cahill at length about this, and we're seeing an increase in the discipline load that I'm experiencing, and a lot of it centers around threats and intimidation, bullying, but also threats for self-harm and threats of harm to others. And I would attribute it partially to our social media that our kids are exposed to at an early age. And I can't do it by myself, trying to discipline 415 kids. So I wrote a letter to the parents that went out today explaining that I would like them to have conversations with their kids centered around these topics. And then Officer Grindle and I will be going from classroom to classroom, including Union, just visiting with the kids about words that are not appropriate to use at school. So, we're holding our own in our buildings with the rain. We'll kind of see what starts to drip. And we're just moving along, getting ready for holiday activities and glitter season, as we call it at the elementary level. Custodian paid us from now until Valentine's Day because there's glitter everywhere all the time. And Union has Thanksgiving dinner coming up, the 21st, I think. And they're cooking dinner for a couple hundred people out there. And it's just a really neat community event that they do. The little kids do the decorating, big kids do some of the cooking, parents bring things, nice potluck, but a fun community event.
Is it gonna be a dinner this year or lunch still?
Lunch, it'll be during lunchtime.
Same time,
Mhm.
same time, same place. Gotcha.
Mhm. So if you guys have the ability to attend, it's a lot of fun. It's just a nice community activity, so. Any questions?
Reports? Anybody has anything? Let us know how the kids do. I guess we'll hear from them if it gets to be serious, huh?
Yeah, if it gets back into the outbreak phase again, I'll keep you posted.
I just wanted to give you an update because I knew he had talked to all of you guys, personally, and I just kind of wanted to give you an update. Once we had all those custodians disinfect everything and come in, it just went, took it down to like Monday morning we came back and we had quite a bit, but by Wednesday we were doing really well as far as attendance. And we're just seeing it kind of pop up again, but it's been about 2 weeks, so. And we're getting in more close quarters as far as people being inside more, and we'll just keep an eye on it and keep sanitizing.
I mean, I heard Portland's having it, Bend is having it, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Plymouth.
They issued a notice to like OSU parents too that it was going around.
It's the winter bug, apparently.
One thing that was nice is, having someone in the high school building, is I don't think that, I think it was caught early and everything was disinfected. Everybody came on and worked through that weekend. So I appreciate that, and I don't really think the high school had a significant outbreak of any sort, really.
They had a little bit.
Did they
I
really?
went around all the buildings on the next Monday morning, and it shook out like this. Only 4 at Fremont. There were 12 at Hay, 13 at Union, and 10 at the high school. LHS DMS. So that's how it all shook out. The next day, it was virtually cut in half or more.
Well, and in some of those things, it's probably hard to tell exactly what the
Yeah.
absence was,
Yeah.
really.
And,
We called the
yeah,
parents and confirmed that it was the norovirus.
They were-
especially at the
flu.
high school, it was really tough for Deanna to really isolate if indeed those 10 were actually the normal.
So when public health go back to you and you had it out that what it was, did that really help the parents know?
It really did.
I mean, or do you still get a lot of comments?
We sent a letter home that public health composed to every
Yeah,
student on
I saw
Monday.
that.
It was very well received, and, I got on the Facebook thing and did it, and then lots of thank yous for how we handled everything, and I think it was a good experience to go through, to really develop some protocols and everything. And yes, the situation wasn't great, but it taught me a lot of things as far as how to handle that, how to proceed through it, who to contact, how to get the word out to the public, and so on and so forth, so.
And I haven't heard of it in the hospital or, war buildings where it keeps going. Seems to be contained with children.
Did we end up putting hand sanitizer in the classrooms?
It doesn't kill it.
I think we got some hand sanitizer. Susan?
It doesn't kill it.
We offered, what we did is, Janet, Will, and I talked, and Rusty, they talked to him, but we had our custodians come on and disinfect everything we could think of. And then,
Including the buses.
and then Monday morning, I went around to the teachers at the elementary school especially and told them anything, they could have Virex wipes and those would be delivered to them. But if they wanted something that made them feel more comfortable, Clorox wipes, Lysols, things like that, they could go get them, purchase them, and then be reimbursed for them. They just needed to give it to the building secretaries. And that included hand sanitizer.
I sent out a district-wide email to all staff to encourage their students to wash, and wash some more as far as their hands, so.
But you have such dedicated teachers that I've got one receipt, and they just went out and got it because they wanted to do what was best for themselves, their kids, the classroom, and make sure that those kids could get back in school, and they weren't getting it at school, and they just sent it out of pocket. So.
I just think of how little my kids wash their hands.
Well, lots of, yeah, and they have the big jugs, and they just kinda, they don't care if they wash their hands.
Maybe that's
Have any
good, maybe
control.
we'll get you-
Maybe, I can't even hug them without having to wash when I'm done.
Well, and I know like with the football boys in particular, Rusty was really harping on them. Especially as we were heading into a playoff game.
It was really cute when the cross-country kids came through. All those kids are jogging through, and they come down through the 4th grade hall, and they make a left, and they head right through the office to Hay, and then right around the corner, and they all filed into the bathrooms, washed their hands after they did high fives with all those little kids. It was really cute. And the kids had really no idea, because they were around the corner. But they encouraged, those kids have worked really hard for those playoff spots. They need to be able to just clean up, wash up, and go on, and not get sick.
Alright. Cool. Anything else?
That's it for reports.
Alright. 9, old business.
We have none.
10, new business.
So, as you know, we've got, we absorbed COIC into our district. So this youth services subcontract in the amount of $22,500, that's contracted with KCC. KCC actually was awarded the WIOA dollars. And so a portion of those WIOA dollars is ours, which totals out to the $22,500. And so they created a contract between KCC and us for those funds. And so basically I'll bill for our youth work counselor as he gets paid until June of 2018, and then we'll redo another one.
Discussion?
I move to approve the youth services subcontract as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the youth services subcontract as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11, consent agenda.
Is as presented.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Announcements.
I have none.
Next board meeting agenda items.
Well, we'll go through another batch of policies, and I'm gonna say that based on our timeliness tonight, we'll probably start at 6 instead of 6:15. So we can get through a few more. I wanna give a report on what's happening with all these vocational grants, which there are many. I'm gonna give you an update as far as, whether we received them or not, what the funding is going to go for, and I think it's going to be a good conversation to have. But we've been getting a lot of money through these CTE grants, so I think you just kind of need a briefing on what we're going to do with all of them. So, and then I've neglected to give you a legislative report. I was hoping, they gave the legislative report up at the meeting in Paisley, and a lot of you weren't there, so I really feel the need to give you really an in-depth legislative report. I won't be too long, but I'll hit the nuts and bolts and kind of get you up to speed on what's going on and what came out of the 2017 legislature as far as schools. There's a thing coming up for an election in January called Mayor 103. I heard about it up at OSBA. I'm probably going to give you a very extensive briefing on that, what that's about. So, Tammy, anything in your neck of the woods as far as anything else?
Yep, we're gonna do, Christy Reese wants to do a CTE added program, Animal Systems Work Experience. so she'll be here to do that. I think she'll be here to do that. And I just heard about that one today. And then the Step Up program that just did the state penitentiary field trip, they're gonna come and do a presentation. Jeff and Ted and some of those students that went. So that'll be kind of interesting.
Meeting December 13th is not our next meeting?
Yep.
Yes,
Then we need to start your evaluation process.
okay.
I think isn't that
Do we have
the
a
right time
November
frame?
Yeah, I'll go,
29?
I'll go ahead and get, I'll get out the materials.
We did start that in
It's
January
timeline.
though, last year.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that in January.
Yeah. March 15th, that's the final date.
So do we need to get board reports, because
And
we're
then there's only one in
a
December.
month apart.
How is the school board
Yeah.
conference?
Building reports.
Really good, a lot of stuff on policy.
Good job.
We'll have quite a bit.
An interesting keynoter, the fellow that basically led a charge with his children on the transgender issue, he was the keynoter, that was interesting to listen to. And the bathroom issue, and I went to a session on, refurbishing old buildings. I learned a lot from this fellow who's refurbishing of old buildings out in Portland. This one over here never really used my thought process, and that's why I went to that one. As you know, we did a lot of time on that wellness policy thing back in the summer. It was rammed our way, and we had to approve it by June 30th. I went to a session related to developing that policy, writing it, and everything else, which is another thing I and kind of it. Those are the main things I walked away with, so I thought it was very good, so.
When is our next meeting?
December 13th,
December 13th.
which is a Wednesday.
So we don't have the 29th, even though it's not
No.
Thanksgiving. I won't be here on the 13th.
Okay.
Sorry.
Vegas, I'm you.
Gotta-
Just hit
Yeah.
me.
I do gotta say, I'm very happy and proud that all five of you are here.
We made it
That's
finally.
wonderful. This is the first meeting we've had of all five of you, and it's fabulous, so.
Well, I move,
Can you adjourn the meeting? Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned.
yeah.